Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, Miss Miller?
Yes.
It'll probably be smart if I turn my volume up. All right. Thank you and good morning to everyone. Thank you for waiting a few moments before we get started. I wanted to try to get as many people as we possibly could into the event. As always, I want to thank everyone for participating and coming to these. I hope that you find them informative. Like I typically do, I have a list of different things just to share as updates on our school. And then if any parent or anyone else has questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those questions for you as well. The goal is just two-way communication in regard to what the happenings of the building are, things that we are doing initiative-wise, and just really events to make sure that our parents are finding out what's going on and keeping in the know in regard to what's coming up at Grand Oak. So I want to welcome everyone again on this chilly Wednesday morning. Where we woke up where the temperatures were right around 32 degrees. So that was a bit of a shocker for everyone. I just want to remind parents that are in the chat that if you do send coats or your students with coats and hats to school, to make sure you have their names in those items. It's also a really good practice to do that with your lunch boxes and water bottles as well. That way, if we find them laying around, they don't just go into the lost and found and stay there. We are able to get those back to your children. So please try to get in the habit of putting your students at least their last name on things so we can kind of get those back to you if necessary. So first off, like I said, I have a list of quite a few things that I'm going to mention to you, and then feel free to ask any questions you may have. You can put it right in the chat. Miss Allison is in this as well, and she'll be happy to answer or share any questions with me, and we'll go ahead and answer those things. So first off, we are in the middle of our Invest in the Nest fundraiser. Just for families that are new to Grand Oak, we do two major fundraisers at our school. One is in the fall, and then one is in the spring. And we try not to what I consider nickel and dime families, and by doing wrapping paper or candles or cookie dough or all those different things that you see at different schools. We do our what's called Invest in the Nest in the fall, which is a capital campaign where if you decide to donate in that fashion, 100% of your donation comes to Grand Oak Elementary School. That is what we do in the fall. And where we're at right now in Invest in the Nest, we're in a really good place with that. We've had about 37% of our population participate so far. And we're at 70% of our goal already, which that means we've raised over $10,000, leaning toward $11,000 in the Invest in the Nest program. And again, that money goes directly to Grand Oak Elementary School. So that is what we do in the fall. So if you're still interested in doing that, you can go on and invest online. And you can do that through the Grand Oak PTA, or you can write a check to the PTA for Invest in the Nest, and you can bring those into school, and then we will give them to the PTA, and they will calculate that information as well. But we're right now at about $10,647, not counting checks, but we should have a more firm number by the end of the day today. But that's right around 70% of our goal. In the spring, we do something called Boosterthon, which is a fun student event for our children. Typically, it's right around March, I think, is when we've done it most recently. This is an event where students get to run laps, and they get incentives for those different kinds of things. That money is shared, though, with the company that runs it with us. So all of that money does not come to Grand Oak. We do raise a great deal of money, but a percentage goes to the Boosterthon organization. They come into our building, they talk to our classes about character, they run assemblies, they actually run the entire event with a DJ and everything, and parents are allowed to come out and watch that event as well. So that is our major spring fundraiser. And I'll just repeat this for Ms. Haas. I'm sure everybody could see it, but if you do send in cash or checks for the Invest in the Nest, please make sure your student's name and information is on there, and that's in the chat box right now if you need that information. So thank you, Ms. Haas, for sharing that. Any questions about our fundraising efforts as a school? Okay. Also just wanted to make parents aware, and I think I may have mentioned this at our last coffee chat as well. We are in the midst of doing phone surveys with our families, and we do this as an opportunity to kind of get feedback from our families, make sure things are going well at Grand Oak, and it also gives you the opportunity to share things that you would like to see us improve as a school. And we take all that feedback and we take it very, very seriously, and we discuss it in our administrative meetings and to see different ways we can improve what we're doing. We do this with about 12 to 15 people a week. We select these people randomly, and you'll either be getting a call from me, Miss Allison, or one of our facilitators. We will leave a message if we can, and just basically say this is for a phone survey. We always like to let our parents know that, so they're not concerned that something's happening at school. It takes about 5 minutes to complete. Questions will go over things like student engagement and how do you feel like your child is engaged at Grand Oak, how communication has been with the teacher, how communication has been with the school using Parent Square. I mentioned things we can do better. That is our last question that we ask. And we also have added a question about homework. Since we have reinstated homework this year, and that is not a CMS thing, that is a Mr. G thing. We thought due to COVID, this would be an opportunity for not only parents to know a little bit better what students are expected to do in the classroom, but also give some of our students some extra foundational practice. We have tried to make it very, very flexible. I've looked at it and reviewed all of our grade levels and what they're sending home. We all have flexibility in regard to the amount of work you get done on your schedule, so you have a week to complete the task. We do rotate math and literacy, so you're getting a taste of both of those things and getting that extra practice, and try to have the kids do that independently. We want to build independence and perseverance in our students, and our long goal is not to continue homework forever, but we thought in the short term, due to the pandemic and some of the gaps we saw with virtual learning, this would be a great opportunity to try to reset some of our foundational skills with what we're doing. So we do ask a question about that, how it's going with your child at home. Do you feel like it's appropriate in regard to the length of time and things of that nature? So those are all the kinds of questions that we ask. We put all that information into a Google form, and then we discuss it as an admin team if there was anything that pops up as a red flag or a concern that parents bring up. So begin to think about that. Like I said, we go through about 12 to 15 families a week. And we'll continue to do that each and every week during the school year. So be on the lookout for that. Questions about the survey? All right. Other kind of dates that I want people to be aware of. The end of Q1 is coming up very, very soon. The quarter ends on right around, I think it's October the 28th. Then we have a work day on October the 31st. That is not because it's Halloween, it's just a work day. It just happens to fall on that Monday. And we will have school on Tuesday, November 1st, just as an FYI. But you should be in the midst of having a conference with your classroom teachers, or you have already set one up with your classroom teacher during the entire month of October. Every single year, teachers will be reaching out to set up conferences to discuss where your child is during first quarter. We have our first pieces of data at this point, and it's really an opportunity for the teacher to kind of give you a visual into how the student is doing in the classroom and how they're doing on nationally normed tests, as well as tests that the district has to give. So your teachers will be talking to you about programs like DIBELS. So if you're a K-3 student, they will talk about DIBELS, which is a literacy assessment that they take, which is normed not only to what's going on in CMS, but the state of North Carolina and beyond. And then we also have a test called MAP that only happens in 1st through 5th grade during the first administration, but they do that in math and literacy. And again, that's a nationally normed test based on student age, and your teacher should be sharing that with you and explaining that with you as well, just to kind of give you a gauge of where your child is performing. 3rd grade parents also got the beginning of grade test results back. Students are not expected to be on grade level when the year starts, but it does give you an idea of where they're performing at this moment. And then we do the test at the end of the year to show their growth over time. Dibbles and MAP are done 3 times a year. So the next time that you will have MAP and Dibbles will be right around January. And you'll get those results again to see, are we improving, which is the most important thing. Are we improving at an appropriate rate from each administration of those tests? The MAP test is done individually, and it is done using a computer-based program that does differentiate for the students based on if they get correct or incorrect answers. So if you ever have questions about those, first start off with your teacher, but Miss Allison and I are happy to answer any questions you have about those as well. But the key thing is, if you haven't set up a conference yet with your teacher, reach out to them this week, and let's try to get one scheduled. It is very important that we have FaceTime with every single family in our school to make sure that they understand how their students are performing. Other big events coming up. Just next week, we have an early release day on Wednesday. So students will be leaving school at 12 o'clock on that early release day, and that's Wednesday, the 26th. I've already mentioned the 31st, Halloween, being a teacher work day as well. And then we also have Veterans Day coming up. 11/11 is another holiday, and that is a different one for us. It's on a Friday. So you can keep track of all of those events on our Parent Square calendar, but I like to try to lift them up so parents are aware of those different things. Any questions about upcoming events? Okay, I want to share one more upcoming event. It's on October the 22nd, and it seems like it's going to be a really cool event. Summit Coffee over in Birkdale reached out to us, having an event for our school where we get 20% of the proceeds. So on October 22nd at 6 p.m., they will be showing a movie tied into the Halloween theme, and they're going to be showing Hocus Pocus 2. And if you go to Summit, they will have 20% of those proceeds will come back to Grand Oak Elementary School. So it should be a great family event outside their facility there on October the 22nd, starting at 6 p.m. So we're excited about that partnership. This is our first event with them, and I think it's a creative way to get our families out and about and mingling and to really get to know each other. November 8th is still a work day. I believe you're correct, Ms. Tillman. Let me pull up my calendar. You are.
It is.
It is a work day. So I failed to mention that one. So that means November 8th is a work day and November 11th is a holiday. So you can see that we're getting into a very fragmented time of the year. I haven't even included in the Thanksgiving holiday at the end of the month. So I will try to continue to send out reminders to families on both Facebook and Parent Square to keep them abreast of those. But thank you, Ms. Tillman, for sharing that as well. You are absolutely correct. Other things just to kind of make you aware of, you may have seen a lot of police officers and police presence on or around campus. That is part of an initiative that really has started all year long from the Huntersville Police Department and Mecklenburg County, where we have people that are not only coming and parking their vehicle during arrival and dismissal. You may see officers during that time. Your students may see officers walking through the building. It is part of their community initiative to get officers' presence in buildings. We also have Mecklenburg County staff coming out and doing perimeter checks around our building as well. So if you see people with a badge, it's not because something is necessarily going wrong at Grand Oak. It's there to keep safety and to make sure our students and staff are made to feel safe, as well as our parents. So we're very happy about that. And they've been doing a fantastic job of coming on a very regular basis. So we invite them in and we want them to be a part of our school environment. And we want our students to feel comfortable with officers and to know that they're here to keep us safe and not a problem. So you will be seeing a lot of that on campus if you haven't already. It has been very, very regular. You also will see officers that may be on duty doing drives through our parking lots. Sometimes they park on the end of the street. Again, just that presence being available to the school is a real nice touch, and we appreciate it a great deal. So if you see a Huntersville officer, please thank them and let them know how appreciative you are of keeping their children safe. They are here pretty much every week. It's not a schedule that we're made aware of. They've been asked, as long as they're on duty in our zone, that they pop in at different times. So some weeks I'll have 2 or 3 officers within a consecutive days. Sometimes it's a different time slots. It really depends on what the officers have going on in regard to public safety around the town of Huntersville, but they are here pretty regularly. But we are not given a schedule of this is when the officers are here and this is when they're not. But that's a really good question. Any other questions about that safety piece? Okay. Only a couple more things, I think. Oh, I failed to mention this. There is a book character day coming up on October 28th. That's a Friday. It does kind of align with Halloween, but our goal is to dress up as your favorite book character. It is voluntary, completely voluntary. So if you have too much going on and you can't do it, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing to be concerned about. We do a parade that morning at 8:30. The parents are welcome to attend. The students do a quick walk through the hall with their book in their outfit, and then they return back to class. So it's a very quick event. We ask that students are not wearing masks in different things, as you know, that makes it very distracting for the rest of the instructional day. But that is also coming up, and that's a fun event for our kids on the 28th. So really today, that is all I have. I kind of went through quite a bit. Is anybody have anything that I did not talk about that they would like to discuss this morning? Okay. I have recorded this event so parents can see it if they were not able to attend today. As always, if you ever have a question about what's going on at Grand Oak, please reach out to us and ask the question. We'll be happy to help any way we can. I also did want to put a shout out one more time in regard to our lunchroom. You know, there have been some parents that have asked about when can we come back to lunch to lunches full time. You have access to our lunchroom now. We just want you to try to help out while you're in there versus just sitting down with your child. So if you are interested in helping out in our cafeteria, seeing the smile of your child's face and really helping us in a voluntary way, just reach out to your classroom teacher. Make sure you have your volunteer screening done with CMS, and we'd love to have you in our lunchroom to help, you know, because our students need a lot of help in regard to opening things or just various other needs, and we only have one monitor. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to come out and join us on any day. We hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the week. Stay warm today. We have another one coming in tomorrow, and then it looks like it's going to warm up a little bit. So have a great day, everyone.